it is matching some strings that are contained in our string. Like, for example, there that they will accept like a good match, recycling center with center. Here are some occurrences about the vocabularies from love that are that has more occurrences. As you can see here, there are some famous or popular vocabularies like relation, which is used for e-commerce, Vivo, that is a technology related to the Vivo project, which is used for sharing scientific knowledge between organizations. It's also VCard that promotes the use of VCard to connect persons with organizations. And also this friend of a friend that is used to retrieve information from persons and the world. Here is the information provided by .stats, and you can see the top classes and properties that we could map, and the representation in the open data. So you can see most of the class and properties are very typical: person, organization, name, description. And as you can see here, properties are easier to map and they have more occurrences. And finally, about the analysis, we have done the analysis. We could map with our script 75 classes, which is the 17.5% of the classes in Scrum. We only could map web properties because it's more difficult to do it, only about 2% more or less. Comparing with equal maps, our mappings and their mappings with the same class and properties, like 68% have the same results. We have also noticed that AKT and BOAF are the vocabularies with more representation. They have much more occurrences than the others, about 3 million first and 2 million the second. And finally, we have realized that mapping classes is easier, but there are much more occurrences of properties in log, so the impact of properties is bigger. About the limitations of our script and our study, as I said before, for example, we couldn't download some vocabularies of log, and also some of them were not formatted well, so we couldn't read it with our library. Then log stats, which is the project providing information of measure. It has like 1,061 errors in their data sets. Also, we have found that limitations that I told you before in our script compiling with logman. Finally, and the most important thing is the potential usage of that. That's just an example, for example, that we have here. We have discovered that in that web, which is .jobs, there is information that is tagged with using a Scrum. For example, you can find IBM. If you look at the code of the result, you can find that it has an item type using Scrum as an organization, and it has a property that is the name. So we know that IBM is the name of an organization. So then, if we have we have found a mapping using our script that tells us that schema.org and the class organization is mapped with the vocabulary HTTP. So using that map and retrieving information from, for example, the video with the SparkQL, we can add new information to that web page that I have shown you before. Okay, that's all. Any questions?
Any questions? Please.
Could you explain a bit what are the sort of heuristics that you use to map the classes into schema.org? And
Sorry?
could you explain a bit more what is the content of these RDFs.rb? So how do you map the classes between the things? What sort of algorithms or heuristics?
I have used a library. We have extracted the classes and we have mapped it library by stream by stream.
Okay.
Comparing.
The names of the
Yes,
classes.
the name of the classes and then the name of the program.
But are the name of the class and the properties enough to disambiguate and create the mappings? Vocabularies are not like ontologies. I mean, vocabularies, they have broader and narrow terms, but that doesn't really reflect a subclass, general class relationship.
Yes, but our main goal is to have some statistical of that. I mean, if your organization is the same, you can use it for.
Well, you can see organization in terms of biology, which is a different thing, isn't it? Which goes
Yes,
to organism,
but
things like that.
the potential usage to use the value of that class, the value in the work page.
Any other question? Okay, so just one question.
Was it ever necessary to map property to a class or vice versa?
Sorry?
You map classes to classes and properties to properties.
Classes to classes, and then the classes that were mapped, we retrieve the properties and we map it with properties. The first step is to map classes, and then with that map classes, we use the properties to map with other properties.
Okay, one last question from me. Do you know if the schema.org has some class for the topic, for the thematic category? For example, if a web document is medical related or is agricultural related?
I don't know.
Well, schema.org is a very simple kind of model. It is only there to assist search engines to find things that people search about. It wouldn't go to very scientific domains, and it's not very extensible to that level so far. And one of the critiques is why we need to adopt schema and not start with what already we have in the open data, for instance, community. We can do what exactly scheme.data does, scheme.org does, with open data, with RDFA. There's no real need to, incorporate an additional model that does exactly what we already have solved. So this is one of the main critiques why we need to jump the bandwagon of schema. Is just because Google has adopted? Is one of the question marks.
Yes, because it's nowadays one of the most used, it's very used. I think maybe for the format it's the most used vocabulary. So you can find it in a lot of webs. So.
Yeah, it's not as big as big data though. It's a volume. I mean, I would doubt that if there are so many websites out there that they are semantically tagged with microformats, but there are plenty of resources in big data actually expressed in RDF.
I agree.